Hello, welcome back to One to the Force, the Star Wars podcast, and tonight's very special spoiler-free review of Last Jedi. And I'm joined, as usual, by Dave, who coined such a phrase. Good evening, Dave.
Good evening, my friend. You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. You ready to talk a brand new Star Wars film?
I very much am. I really am ready to discuss this. It's going to be a
This is going to be an interesting one. We've of course had our own private discussion before it came on air because we both, of course, have seen the film. So we can have a spoiler-filled discussion. It's very interesting. Some polarizing opinions, which we can't wait to share with you. George, of course, can't be with us tonight. He's got a really busy schedule. If you saw ITV News the other day, he was even on that being interviewed for it. He's mental. He's in London. He will be joining us next week for our spoiler full review next Wednesday for our regular time slot. So, George, we will see you then. But until then, so Dave, Last Jedi.
Yes.
Waiting for this film for a long time. A lot of build up. I mean, when we all met, we were looking forward towards it. We had the Rogue One was just coming up. We just had the full trailer for that. We'd had some announcements for episode 8. We'd had not a huge amount of casting, but then things starting at the ball rolling. And of course, this year we've had both trailers. We've had everything building up. So what was your hype? What was your build up going into it?
I was at the very highest level I could be for this. As we discussed on our last show, I'd seen the 2 trailers that came out, and I saw 1 TV spot because we were going to discuss it in our regular podcast. So I hadn't read any reviews, I hadn't seen any magazines. Internet, I came off about 4 days ago when the first sort of screening started. Came off then. Facebook got deleted, Twitter got deleted, Instagram got deleted, just in case anybody put anything out there that I saw and it spoiled something. And as we know, things, I mean, certainly here in the British side of here, we have a problem called This Morning, and there's a massive spoiler given out on that. We won't go into that until next Wednesday. I nearly did, but I won't. So, but yeah, so
that's luckily I missed that. Damn.
Things have been coming out, so I avoided everything. I mean, I went into this as clean into a Star Wars movie as I've probably been since not knowing much going into episode 1.
Yeah.
From there, it was kind of very much I've seen everything that's gone on with everything, but this one I really wanted to be out and outside of it. And so hype for me was massive. I mean, I can't state how much I was ready for this film. Yourself?
I mean, yes, same here. I mean, I'd seen, unfortunately, Disney did this really annoying thing where they have these little TV spots, tiny TV spots, which comes up saying, don't spoil this, which is fantastic. And then they show a spoiler, and it was quite a big one. I have to admit, after then watching the film, I mean, I could piece it together from the trailers anyway, what it was going to be, and I was like, okay, you can kind of see that coming anyway, but really? So, okay, I tried to avoid that. I mean, when I was watching Monday Night Football the day before, when I was watching the game, because I have broadcasts through the NFL Game Pass for America, so I have the full TV broadcast, all done legally through the Game Pass, but I then have to mute it, take the headphones out, shut my eyes to make sure I don't see trailers. They had trailers on. I had to make sure I did not see anything. Like you were trying to go into it as clean as possible. So yeah, my hype was right up there. So we did see the trailers, seeing 1 TV spot on purpose, 1 TV spot purely by accident because it was saying, don't spoil this. And I thought it was just a gift saying, don't spoil this. I thought it would be perfect for our page. And then they showed that. I was like, wow. And then to be fair, I warned you guys immediately, don't do this.
You really did. I know it was great to actually get that because it's the kind of thing I would click on inadvertently.
Yeah, don't spoil this. It's a perfect little, that's good. That's a good little message. And they put a spoiler in it because why Disney? Why? However, yes, I went into it completely, basically as blind as you want to be because, there are these 20 TV spots, which is insane. 19 far too many, because 1 TV spot makes sense. To have a smaller TV trailer makes perfect sense. But 20? No, you don't need that. Plus international trailers, you don't need any of that. So 2 trailers plus 1 TV spot's fine. However, that's what we saw. We went into it. And then, of course, we're now here. So, yeah, I was very, very hyped for the film. Now, okay, we're going to try and outline the plot here without giving away any spoilers. And this is one of those films where actually it would be not only detrimental to us as a YouTube channel, it would be very detrimental for you going into it, because we don't want to influence your opinion, because Dave and I have different opinions on this film. And it's one of those things that I think actually, and Dave will probably agree with me on this, we don't want to put our opinions on you. We want you to go and see this film and enjoy it, or not enjoy it for your own reasons. So we're going to try and outline the plot without giving too much away. That's going to be very hard. We're both kind of been worried about this one. The only thing I will say, and the one thing that we can probably say that you were all glad it's not a carbon copy. It's a fresh film. And that's the one thing that everyone was worried about. That's the one thing that you can kind of go and go, okay, so at least you know you're not going to have to go, am I just going to see Empire?
Oh, no, definitely not. It is something, I think, to kind of give a plot outline, you're right, it's a tough one without giving too much away. I think the main thing you can kind of say is this is a story of the continuation of Rey's story and her growth, and it is about the resistance following up from their victory, kind of, in Starkiller Base. And it is really because the film takes place, we know this going in, we know that we've seen the first shot was going to be that the filmed was Rey handing over the lightsaber to Luke, and so you're going straight into this. So this this is the next progression of that story, and I think that's kind of the broadest outline I can kind of give.
The broadest outline is it's not a carbon copy of Empire, and it's very much a character development film, and it answers some questions and leaves a lot more open for 9. And that's where we'll leave that.
I think that's as close as we can get without literally
going,
having to go in.
All of these spoilers. So yes, we'll go into it. We'll talk about some of the major casting points and some of the major characters in this. Laura Dern's character, personally, I really enjoyed in this. She grew on me throughout the film. You'll see what I mean when you go and see it, because at the very first, she is a bit abrasive, and it's a jarring introduction as well. Given the film, it's a very, very jarring introduction, but for me, she growed on me. I mean, the way she carried herself and the way that she portrayed her character didn't make me think, oh, it's Laura Dern in a Star Wars film. It made me think that's her character. So for me, she didn't take me out of it by seeing her in it, if that makes much sense.
That's exactly what I would say about her. She blended into the Star Wars saga very well. She came across the character, and not for a second did I go, oh, Laura Dern. It was never. You're right. It's never that point. I was never taken out the movie by her.
No. Which means she's done her job well. But that's the thing that she's
an actress and she's blended in. That's what you want. You don't want someone to see the actress or the actor. You want them to see the character you're portraying. Yeah. And she certainly did that. I think
the only person who does it better is Andy Serkis, because you never see his face.
Well, yes, there really is. So I mean, we're going to kind of in this. It's going to be tough because this is as non-spoiler as we can get. Yeah. We are going to be talking about some of the characters and what we thought of the actors' portrayals of those.
Yeah,
and those opinions might then lead you to think, oh, that's a bit of it. We're trying to be as literally give you as little as possible. We don't want to give you any
preconceptions. We want to give you, because and we actually are quite happy that we have opposing opinions, because it gives us something to discuss. Because yes, we love Star Wars. Both of us absolutely adore it. And there's things that, talking about the original trilogy, we can go on ad infinitum about Hoth and about the problems with Binox, all the rest of it. You can talk about Jedi and Ewoks. You can talk about Episode 1 and polarizing opinions on Jar Jar. You can talk about anything. We can talk anything and everything. We love every single film they've done. This one is polarizing. We both have enjoyed it. You may not rank it as your highest, but it's gonna, at least it's not a train wreck. It's not one.
We'll get to that at the end of this, about actual overriding thoughts and
anyway, we'll give you some opinions on the casting. Again, continuing the theme of new casting, the character of Rose. I quite like the character, but she felt like a secondary character.
She is. I mean, that's not a spoiler. She is very much, going in that you're looking at Rey's story more than, actually, she got more screen time than I expected she would get. But actually, I was quite fond of her character.
Yeah, no, I like the character. It feels like a second tier.
Oh, very much so. There's no doubt about it. And she was introduced in a really nice way. She's got some nice character beats through the film, some of which
we'll discuss more next week.
Yeah, so she fits in very well into the saga that she's come into. I think her character overall, I like who she is as a character, so that's great. She's a nice entry, and I think she'd be a welcome addition into the Star Wars family.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to seeing her progression in 9. That was, I think, without giving you any spoilers, I liked her character in 8. Looking forward to see what they do with it in 9. It's one of those things that when it's the middle part of a trilogy, you kind of do have to kind of keep thinking ahead of how it's going to affect the next one.
What we might have to do though is, although we've got that one, we probably will stay away from saying if they're going to be in 9 or not, just for now.
Yeah,
because I don't want to slip. That's all. Because I know I have the possibility of doing so.
Yeah, this is very true.
Yeah, so I'm going to stick with just talking about characters right now. I'm not going to talk about their future just in case I ruin this before anybody who sees us watches it. Because I mean, the last thing I want to do.
We don't spoil it.
Yeah, that's really
free review. So
it's going to be it's a tough review for me to feel kind of come on.
It is so hard to review without giving anything away, especially when we are such big Star Wars fans. We want to talk about it. We want to. We can't.
But let's. I mean, after we've gone to there, I mean, let's talk about.
Let's go into Poe. Let's go into Poe. Let's go into to that. I liked him in 8. I like him even more. I liked him in 7. I like him even more in 8. His progression is much better in 8. He's much more than a one. In 7, he's very much a one-dimensional character for me. But in 8, he does have that. It's hard to say again without spoiling, but he does have it gains a bit of extra depth.
I agree. Yeah, he's grown a little bit of a character. He's got more to do now. He's got his progression has come on to where you would think he would, being the position he is in the Resistance. He is still a pilot, but his standing in the not the First Order, that would be the wrong people.
That would
not the rebels. What's the word I can't think of?
Resistance.
Resistance. Thank you very much. What's the word? Resisting right now. It's resistance. So yeah, his position in the Resistance has grown, but I think Oscar Isaac, you're not going to get a bad performance from.
You don't get a bad performance, but this is better than he feels.
I agree. He's but I think seeing him in general, you kind of know what you're going to get from him. You expect a decent performance. Yeah. I've seen a few of his films outside that. Ex Machina is one of my favorite films.
I really want to watch that. I haven't seen it yet.
So good. And yeah, he's just a good actor, and that's what I want to see from him, and that's what certainly I got.
We'll go to Finn. Finn, again, this is much more about the character progression. And I really... Again, without spoiling too much, you knew he was going to be fine going into 8 purely because you see him running about in the trailer. There's not much that... you see in the second trailer, you see the door go up and see him and Rose in the First Order uniform. So you see that particular part. You know he's going to be fine going into 8. I do wish they hadn't shown any of him to see if they could have left it as a bit of ambiguity, but definitely, again, more depth. This film did adding depth, and John Boyega his character has found its place in the overall story. I think it's given him a bit more freedom, if that makes sense. Again, try to spoiler, but yes.
I think, I mean, he's a character I really liked in the first movie, and nothing has been taken away from that character by what I've seen in the second movie. I really like his performance. Sometimes he tends to go a bit over the top, but I think that's obviously the direction. He was the same in 7, so you can't expect that to have just disappeared by 8. No. But given the experiences he has, but yeah, I think he's still a character that hasn't, although he's grown, he hasn't fully moved on from that stormtrooper who left the First Order, and that is certainly
that makes sense though because it makes sense though purely because the film is set right after 7. If he had moved on far too much, it would. Again, that's we know that's not a spoiler because we know it's set straight afterwards. So there are some bits where you have to still think they're in 7 in some aspects, so it makes sense for him to still have that mindset.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, as you say, he does kind of add a bit more to that. Going on to the more difficult characters, Luke, I'm not actually going to say anything about. Purely because at the end of 7, he says nothing, and 8 is all new. I don't want to say anything on Luke purely because anything I say will actually end up being a spoiler, I think, in that one.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably somewhere we're going to have very, very polarizing opinions, or we may have a very similar opinion on kind of part of it.
I have some similar opinions to you on some bits and polarizing on others, but
I think for that character, we'll just say that it's nice to see Mark Hamill again.
Yeah, and then leave it at that, purely because there is far too much for a spoiler otherwise. And actually, I'm going to say the same with Carrie, because, yeah, we don't see a huge amount of her in 7. And 8, yeah, no,
yeah.
we're gonna leave it there.
I mean, to go on, I'm going to just add a little bit. Yeah. Seeing Carrie Fisher in this movie was some of the hardest stuff to watch, and not because of what was going on screen, but what's happened since the shooting is all finished. I'm not going to lie to you. There is a moment in the movie, just one singular moment, and you probably know which point I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, but I was literally just tears absolutely flew out of my face.
I didn't cry at 8.
Really, the words that were said and the moment that it's in, floored me.
That moment had me closest. Personal reasons made me. Yeah, I have personal reasons why I'm not going to go into it for the film. But yes, I didn't cry, but at the same time, that one had me so damn close.
Yeah,
and I know the moment you're talking about, and it does floor you. It's one of those things that when you watch the film, you'll know what we're talking about. And we've got someone who's actually in the live chat. Let's try it again. Wayne, who's Wayne and actually, so World of Wayne and Big Bad Rides, who have both put in their own. Both put their non-spoiler opinions down below. Probably not going to read them out on air, but purely just we're trying to keep it as kind of.
But thank you, guys,
thank you so much for commenting.
Thank you for commenting. Wayne is awesome. Wayne is from World of Wayne. If you see him, he's got a YouTube channel. He makes a lot of things. He does a lot of builds. Excellent channel if you get a chance to look at him. But yeah, so I'm just thank you guys for coming along and watching. This is a tough video to watch because we can't give a lot away.
No.
It's going to be kind of more when we get to the end of this video and we'll give our actual opinions on what we thought of the movie. I think
so we'll probably come back to it then, but thank you so much for commenting, and thank you actually for watching live with us. Leia was one of the hardest ones to watch, and probably the easiest to go, nope, not going to say a damn word. Moving on to Supreme Leader Snoke. Again, not going to say too much about the story arc, but what I will say is, because you see a lot more of him in this film, I like the character a lot more.
I love the work, the CG work on him is,
and the spangly robes. we've seen that beforehand. Spangly robes are awesome.
disco worthy.
Yeah,
you've seen them before in all the toys and everything, but
it's so Hugh Hefner Star Wars. It's amazing.
I love the portrayal. I love the portrayal Serkis did with him. I thought it was very well done. I mean, Andy Serkis is a master at what he does now. It's
he's phenomenal.
It's like just his second skin is putting on a thing with loads of balls on it. But yeah, so it's it was a great performance. I actually really enjoyed the performance of Snoke, and again, can't give too much away, but it's a really, really good performance. Yeah.
Again, that is one of the harder ones not to talk about, though, isn't it?
The Praetorian Guards as well, actually, while we're on there. For being what I've thought all the way through were terrible designs and look bad, are actually one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Like,
one of my
favorite scenes.
Yes, all of the I want to have a comic book about just them. And I have my own theory of who they are, but then again, I can't say too much about that purely because that does actually avoid spoilers.
That's okay.
Leave that for next week. Kylo Ren.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The character development. Oof.
I think
Enough.
he's come. No, I mean, well, I'll go
Yeah.
into a little bit. I think
Yeah.
he's come from such a short space of time.
Yeah.
He has certainly come a long way, but it is talked about in the movie about how far he hasn't come from when he was younger. That's not a spoiler. That's just saying they recognize he's still.
Please do not read the live chat now. There is a spoiler.
Oh, come on, guys! Don't put spoilers in. That's just not on. Come on. Anyway, but yes, if you are reading any of the comments and there are some spoilers, please, probably best if you don't watch this right now if you don't want anything to be totally spoiled, or just watch us and don't read any of the comments. We'll read them after.
Well, in the live
we'll
chat, the actual comments afterwards will be fine. But
yeah, we'll be fine. So
Kylo Ren, he has so much more progression in this one, so much more. I mean, I like him in 7, but 8, far better.
I think he has, the performance just from Adam Driver himself, I think, has come on leaps and bounds. I thought he was okay in 7. It wasn't my favorite lovely bouffant character from a movie. But yeah, I think he's come on, as an actor, I think he's come on, he plays a much stronger role in this film than he does in 7. It's probably the best thing I can say for him.
And I think that's
easy. This is we have missed. Rey, really? Without getting this word there, I mean, look, you're looking at her journey continuing literally from where she left off, and her getting
the only thing I will say that isn't a spoiler, because you know that she has a different outfit. The actual costume change is quite jarring.
Yeah, and it's not. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But yeah, it's a great progression. She is Daisy Ridley is. She's Rey. I mean, this is where
she's growing as an actress, though, in terms of the performance.
Oh, she's a way better actress in this film than she was in 7. There are moments still where she's not the best actress. I'm not being awful. She's not the best actress in the world. She'll get there. I think she's awesome. I think she's coming on so far. But certainly there are moments where I was a bit taken. Okay, that line read is still a little not quite there. But overall, her character arc again is one that you will want to see. No matter how you feel about this film, you want to see this film. But anyway, I think the best thing we can do is move off characters. I think we'll get on
characters,
and we'll get on to the rest of what we can talk about a lot. I think
director, so about Rian Johnson, he had a very difficult task with 8, because 7 is a soft reboot, 8 is a step into a brand new universe. Because Rogue One again was a very safe bet, because it's seeing plans on Death Star. You kind of knew that happened. It's kind of, if you didn't know that was happening, you haven't obviously watched 4 and read the crawl. Whereas 8 is a really like, okay, we've seen 7, now where are they going? He had a tough job. My only thoughts were, I think he did a really good job with 8. I just think he put too much humor into it, for my liking.
I agree with there's a little too much humor, a bit too on the nose a lot of the time. Not that I don't find an issue with humor in the Star Wars movie. It's when it's too
much
when there's just throwaway lines sometimes that that jars me out of the film. That's not yes, there's humor in Star Wars, but it's always inside with the character, and some of them felt like a side gag, like, and that's a joke, which took me out a bit. But overall direction, this guy, I mean, I've only seen Rian Johnson's film Looper, and I adore that movie. It's a great film, and I thought direction-wise, I thought it was great. I mean, the actual thing looked, I mean, that's cinematography, but it looked amazing. There was not a bad frame where I looked and you could point out, oh, that's a bad framing of that. This guy's a really, really good director. There's no doubting that. They haven't given this guy a trilogy of films
for nothing. And off the back of 8, without even giving any spoilers away, we can say I think he's earned that trilogy.
Phil can probably say that. I'm not maybe there, but that's fine. We'll talk about that later, and definitely next week.
This is what we're talking about. We have polarizing opinions on it. And actually, we probably shouldn't go too much in the direction, because then we will start to get into an argument and spoilers. So we'll leave that for next week. What we can go, though, onto the soundtrack. I feel that 8 was far superior to 7. 7 was good, but 8, the soundtrack for 8 was a whole nother level.
7 for me was a very minimalist score. There was a lot that wasn't behind it. I mean, one of the things I'll start with and literally, it's not. This is nothing. This is a really good thing.
Yeah.
Episode 7, when it started, they recorded
a new
theme song again. Yeah, with the Los Angeles Symphony Orchestra.
Yeah.
And when you play episode 7 back, you can tell it's just this lackluster.
Yeah.
Boom, and it just doesn't. Every time I watch it, it's one of the things you go, oh, it's not right. That's been fixed.
Yeah.
When the fanfare kicked in, my word, I was blown away. That was back to how it should be loud.
Yep.
And
it's one thing they don't need to re-record. They just play for, you're fine. Just leave the stat pit.
Apparently it's been re-recorded for every film as well. It's never the same. It's never the same one. It's always a different one.
7 is the weakest of that lot.
It is. It's very, and that's been re-recorded. And it sounds amazing. This is by far. This one is a much stronger score than in 7, I believe. And maybe that was for reasons that they wanted to. Maybe they were introducing new characters and they wanted maybe the music not to be so big in the movie. Then Giacchino, that's not the right pronunciation, but that's okay, came along and in 2 weeks made an awesome soundtrack for Rogue One. This is John Williams at his finest. Yes, there's a lot of playbacks to previous Star Wars movies, which you're gonna get those themes playing through.
However,
some very severe.
I'm not gonna say which bit it is, but one bit is perfectly placed. You just go, that's
very good where it needs to be. And Williams always calls back to his previous scores. This has always been from episode 1 to episode 8 now. These are poems. These go along in verses. This is a rhyming stanza all the way around. And
it's one of those things that Mozart is still remembered today, and he died 400 years ago? Whatever it is, 300-400 years ago.
People will talk like John Williams soundtracks the same way.
Same way, they will. He will have earned his status.
Oh, he's an absolute master of his craft. He really is.
I mean, he's 80 odd and still cracking them out.
83, I think, 84 now, and he's still saying he's going to be there for now. God willing, touch all the wood I have in this room.
That he will be there for 9.
He'll be here for 9 as well. Because I'd love him to round out those 9 films, and then after that, if they move to other.
We've got a different one for Solo, haven't we?
Yeah, different musician again, conductor and composer. But
I can't remember who it is off the top of my head, but
it's nice if Williams gets to round out the sonic features.
Yeah, but the musical cues in this were a lot better, a lot stronger than they were in 7. I agree it's probably because of the character introduction, although the Rey theme introduction in 7 was probably one of my favourite pieces of that film, just with her sliding down sand dunes and just using the speeder and that kind of the very simplistic shots with the theme over the top. I think that's one of my favourite set pieces from 7. Just for an outset, for me, it feels like a Star Wars film just because of it's just these little nods here and there.
And some massive head bows too. Not just some nods, some head bows. Really big.
And in 8, it does have a hell of a punch to the soundtrack.
It's been amped up to 11.
I will be guessing. I mean, I got the 7 soundtrack when it came out. I got the Rogue One soundtrack a little bit after it came out. 8, I will be guessing as soon as I can. It's incredible. I really, really enjoyed the soundtrack for this one.
Yeah. It adds so much to the movies. It always has. This one, for me, is, again, right up there. John Williams, for a man of his age, but obviously has so much behind him. Just bravo, that man. Top tip.
Indeed. Oh, and much more because, that was incredible. We'll go into visual effects. We'll go into the actual look of the film. ILM, being ILM, it was incredible. It really was. We'll do the vis effects, then we'll do the practical effects, because the practical effects I've got a lot more to say on, but the vis effects were outstanding, especially with certain flying things.
I mean, there's the ships that are in there. I mean, all of this that is put together by ILM is great. There are some moments where I could pick out. There is definitely some green screen being used, or blue screen, whichever they use. There's definitely some with plates behind characters, and sometimes towards more of the back end of the movie, it stands out that there's a plate behind them, or it's been a digitally created background. And I think, you know what, that 10 years ago you wouldn't have noticed so much. Now our eyes are so used to the level that these are at, and some of these things are amazing, and you would never have spotted. Now your eye kind of catches it a bit more, I think, the more we see it. But there is so much, again, they've gone with a lot of realism in this movie. But the CG enhances most of it. There are some moments in certain scenes that it's not quite there for me, but I think overall really well done. But as Phil's going to say, I think what makes the Disney era
better than
not better, but it makes this area certainly superior for myself, and you as well. Is the practical work,
practical effects? Oh, yeah, the practical effects. I mean, I've always been a fan of the practical. When it came to the prequel trilogy, 2 and especially 3 felt so fake in a way, and just in terms of they haven't aged as well as 4, 5, and 6. And the way the films look. And I think that 7, 8, and 9 will age better than 1, 2, and 3. I mean, 1 has a lot more models in it than 2 and 3. George Lucas wants to push the boundaries more for 2 and 3, and kept going and going. But no, the practical effects in 8 were brilliant. Seeing certain props come back was just incredible. Seeing some of the set pieces, some of the characters, the actual creature effects. I mean, the creature effects is one of the most underappreciated pieces of this new era of Star Wars, but they have done an outstanding job.
Oh, absolutely. It really is. It's quite incredible, the work that's gone into it. Even just little thing, we've all seen the Porgs, and they mostly are practical effects, and there's just some creatures that in here that back in the day would have been thrown as CGI and done that way, and it wouldn't have suited the role as well. It wouldn't have stood as well, for me anyway. But yeah, I thought the practical work on this film was absolutely.
I can't wait to chat Porgs with George next week. That will be fun.
It really will be. There are some moments that I do want to talk about them, and I think there are some things worthwhile mentioning when we get to the spoiler review that we're putting out next Wednesday. I really am looking forward to that as well. But practical, incredible, absolutely incredible work.
I mean, the actual sets and the set pieces are just mind blowing. I mean, we've known, of course, with 7 when they went to Arc-2, we know what that already looked like. But Skellig is a fantastic place. But one place that stood out for me visually was Crate. Now, the planet's cool. We've seen it in the trailers. I'm not going to spoil too much by going into it. But what you haven't seen in the trailers that's on Crate is phenomenal. And I think that's the best way of putting it without spoiling is because, of course, you're going to see more than what you see in a trailer, but there's more to what they show you in Crate. Crate is one of those things for me. Without going too much into it, what you don't see in the trailers, I think it's phenomenal.
It's so well put together. We get some really stark visuals as well. The contrast of Crate to everywhere else we go throughout the movie. I mean, we know the place we're going to. We've got Act 2. Is it Act 2?
Act 2,
yeah, that's cool. And we also go to the planet with the casino on. Canto Bight. And they all have their own visual stylings, and they're all very, very different. You're not going to mix up like, oh, where are we now and where are we now? There's none of that. It's nowhere everywhere stands out for being its own place. There's nowhere here you'd be like, they're mixing things up. They've done the production teams on these now, probably the same guys who have been doing everything, because they tend to stick with these people once they've got good artists behind the scenes, and it shows the level of work.
The level of love and creativity they've put into it is just, you can see it clearly on screen. And I really enjoyed also the costume design. I think the costume design for some of those characters it's really good. It accentuates some of their beings, although I prefer Kylo's costume in 7 than I do to 8.
I would actually go the other way around with that one. I really would.
I think it's more just the...
I like that he has like a much more of a capey feel to it rather than that all the wraps around him.
I prefer the wraps than the cape. That's the thing that I've watched both. I go, actually, you know what? I prefer 7, 8, just costume design on Kylo. How else to say things in terms of non-spoilerish?
I think really, I mean,
we'll see more of the Resistance.
The actual, as in terms of themselves, we got a lot more in depth and how It isn't a spoiler, but how hard it is being for the Resistance, how it is being that those ex-rebels, how there aren't, like when you saw once they blew up the Republic in Episode 7, that they were going to then struggle, and you do see the continuation of those struggles and how hard it is.
The continuity is fantastic, but it's again, trying to talk not spoilers, but it's hard. It's hard to not say things, but there's a lot of progression. There's a lot of I want to leave it at that because I'm trying so hard not to say anything that's going to spoil it for people out there who haven't yet seen the film. Purely because I would hate it if I watched a spoiler-free review and someone spoiled it, because you don't want that. I mean, overall thoughts, overall opinions.
Do you want me to go?
I'll let you go first. I'll go second. We'll work out from there and do it as non-spoiler as we can.
Okay, right. So last night was a really good night. We both went to the double bill, not separately, but we were all at the double bill. So The Force Awakens first, then saw The Last Jedi.
Was yours IMAX?
And IMAX, yeah. IMAX 3D and all that jazz.
For a decent price, unlike George.
Poor George. Seen on ITV News.
Yes.
Yeah, so the seeing Force Awakens was great. I really enjoyed that film again. Seeing it on the big screen was great. And then I saw The Last Jedi. And this film, for me, doesn't do it for me. I'm in, certainly from the critical response and a lot of reviews out there, I'm one of them. I'm in the minority, but I did not enjoy The Last Jedi. There is more in this movie that I didn't like than I liked. But Phil, I know you are absolutely the opposite end of the spectrum for me.
There are things in 8 I don't like. There really are. And I'll get onto that next week. And we may actually end up agreeing on some of those points. We probably will. There's probably things that actually I may not like that you may like. But overall, I would almost put 8 at the very top of my list.
And
that's how polarizing.
Yeah, that really is where Phil is like saying that his film is at the top of his list. I would put this almost at the bottom of mine. And I was thinking about this as I was driving home, where I would actually, because you know how people do, they rank these films all the time of where they think they stand. And I can be totally honest with you guys. You guys watch this, you're all Star Wars fans. This Attack of the Clones will always be and will never move from being my least favorite Star Wars film.
Even above Phantom?
Yeah. Attack of the Clones will never. The Phantom Menace is streaks above of Attack of the Clones. We'll not get that right now.
Okay, actually, okay. There are points that
I would
go, no.
Maybe put one of the prequel below, but after that, Last Jedi would be down there for me. Like really down there right now. I mean, I've seen this once, and I saw it starting at midnight. Didn't get out till 3 o'clock in the morning, and that might be part of it. It's a long day to kind of sit through 2 movies. I mean,
we've already had someone put in the comments saying how the second time viewing without the preconceptions does help and improve the viewing. I'm hoping for your sake that's the case.
And you know, if these are the films that these mean the world to me, and I mean, I will say, I don't know self-promotion, but I have a channel called The Life of Brien. I know some of you guys who are in the comments now know of it, have been on it. I put out an instant reaction when I came out of the cinema. And some people said I literally looked bereft and that my little heart was broken.
You looked heartbroken. I watched it. I genuinely watched it. The Bucket of Awesomeness, which is my own channel, I will be bringing back next year. Adele and I will bring that back next year, hopefully. Life and work gets in the way.
It does, absolutely.
However, I watched it, and I have my own opinions. Personally, I put it up very near the top of my list for certain reasons that I will go into next week. I think that's the best way of saying that. Dave's reasons behind where he puts it, my reasons behind where I put it, and we haven't really spoken to George too much about where he puts it yet.
George is kind of out there in the ether somewhere between seeing Star Wars, and
seeing Star Wars.
The stuff he's got on. It's going to be good to find out. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, we hadn't even talked about the ranking before we started. While we're hearing it, came into my mind that I'd literally been thinking about it on my drive home from work. But it's a strange one because, as I say, I was built for this film. This film is meant.
I think we had too much expectation.
Maybe it meant it did. You're right. It meant the world to me going into that movie. For instance, I couldn't wait, and it's kind of weird that you come out of those films and you're with your friends and you go, "So what did you think?" And then you have to kind of go, "I didn't really enjoy it." And then do you have an effect on what they overall think because you're with them and you're the Star Wars friend, and it's tough. I am going to go see it it's Thursday today. I'm going to be seeing it again on Tuesday. Morning showing.
Seeing it Tuesday evening.
So I'm going to hopefully go, and there's not going to be many people there. No distractions, wide awake. And who knows if the experience will change. I think there are some things definitely in this film that will never change. I know now that there is 10% of these things in this movie that I desperately dislike. And I mean, really dislike. And I know that won't change no matter how many times I see the movie. They're just things that straight away for me took me out of Star Wars. And that's the last thing I need a Star Wars movie to do. And they won't change. But there are things that are probably on the curve of where I think I don't really like that. And that might change when you say I see this movie a second time. And I hope it does. I really do. It might move up in its ranking, and I'll be able to change that next time we speak. But for me, this is what is great about this.
However, I have had one thought though. After Solo comes out in May, we can actually do the top 10 Star Wars films because there will be 10 to rank. Live action films, of course.
No, but absolutely, yeah. Sorry, just on the comments, Bailey Green has just commented, is JJ writing the script for 9? He is, isn't he? I think he's writing the script as well.
Yeah, he's executive produced 8, and he's had a hand in how it... He didn't write 8, but he did have a hand in how it went, but he is writing 9.
Yeah, so I said to Phil before we came online, I'm really looking forward to JJ getting back and finishing off the trilogy that he started, because he's going to have his own idea of where...
I'd say, I should say another interesting opinion, which is Chris James saying about the fan theories, and actually there's a lot we will discuss next week about fan theories. And that there's a good... We're not going to say it out loud purely because it's spoiled for those who listen online. However, good point.
Well, it is a good point. What I would like to say in that is we had our preview discussion last week. We got some things absolutely spot on right. That were in the story. We literally nailed some of those things that were coming. George said he would because he's brilliant. We do love him. He is great. But it's, we got some things bang on, which I was really pleased about.
Very wrong though as well.
Oh, we got things massively wrong. Of course,
however,
it's us.
That's great though. It's us. We just go,
but that's what I was saying. The thing I love about this is we get to discuss the thing, and you know what? It would have been lovely to come on and had a Star Wars love in where we come in and go, oh, it was the greatest thing ever.
Rogue One.
I can't fault Rogue One. I still love that film.
Oh, God,
number 3 in my ranking. Sorry. But it's
almost 2 for me. This is the thing. Like Jedi.
So yes,
it's top. But Rogue One's amazing.
Yeah, it would have been. I say it would be lovely to come on and just have this big Star Wars love in and say how great it was.
But
I love the fact that
polarizing opinions and have a decent discussion on it. But next week we are full on. Here's everything laid bare, no punches pulled. We will have a discussion about it and go, this is what we like, this is what we don't like. And I do have things I don't like about The Last Jedi. I really do. There's some things that
I have things I do like. Honestly, there are things I do like. So when I say I didn't like this movie, overall, yes, that is true. Right now, it's not for me. It didn't work. But there are moments and there are things that happen, things that are said and things that are shown that made my little nerdy heart sing and worked perfectly for me. I just needed more of that and less of everything else that we're going to talk about. I really can't wait for next Wednesday because I want to get out in spoiler land. There are some really good people out there who've got full-on spoiler reviews. So if you want to know, I'm going to see the film straight away. You can go see it right now. We'll be spoiling it to death next week. We'll literally go through the movie, probably point by plot point, and we'll go through and break it down.
That'll be a 2-hour show. We can almost guarantee that will be a very long show.
It will. So it's just want to put it on iTunes or something. Because
can't wait for that.
A toilet listener, I think, or in bed listener, definitely one of those.
Yeah. That's a to welcome back, definitely.
Yeah, a commute podcast is what that's going to be.
Podcast,
But yes, I mean that's kind of
actually further. I have on a funny story. I do have a friend of mine who does listen to this for his commute, and he always gets annoyed because his commute is just slightly shorter than our podcast, so he has to finish it after he's finished his journey, which I just find hilarious.
That's good. I'm glad he's listening.
For sure. I mean, thank you for the comments this evening. It's actually been nice to have people different people commenting below. We have our dedicated listeners. You know who you are, and thank you as always for listening and for watching. But to anyone who's commenting now or in the future, thank you. We always appreciate your feedback, and we do listen, and we also we value your opinion, because at the end of the day, it is such a great universe that gives us all these polarizing opinions. And there's one thing in particular next week I'm going to slam to hell and back.
We all will. Don't worry. We're going to talk about everything. How long have we been doing? Sorry, I don't even know what time we're on from when we started. We're closing in an hour-ish. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So no, I don't know if you've got any more things you want to talk about.
Yeah. The only thing I will say is there may be things that I change in my own second viewing. I must admit, there's probably some things that I'll go into it and go, they could have done that better, or even change my opinions on some things I don't like. But it's one of those things that, okay, yes, it's not perfect. I will say that it is not perfect. But thank God it's not a carbon copy of Empire is the one thing I can say. Because I was so worried, so paranoid that's what they were going to do. Yeah,
I mean, look, any of our opinions, good or bad, it shouldn't stop you from going to see.
Take it with a pinch of salt. It's our opinions. We have, we're allowed opinions, but they're just that. They're opinions. Everyone out there's different.
I just think that you need to just look. If you've invested in the Star Wars saga, if you're invested in seeing this story, you're absolutely going to see this film. And it's great that maybe not all these films are for everybody and they don't work for people, but then some people. I don't know if you've seen. You probably have seen the critics one. This thing is a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes critically. It's massively up there. Well, who does? They talk rubbish a lot of the time. But since we're doing that and critiquing a film, listen to the critics.
Crap. Yes,
but, yeah, that's okay. But yeah, as I say, just you should go out there, go support this movie. You really should. If you're going to watch 9 and you're going to watch Solo, get out there and watch it. It's still a great night at the cinema. This isn't, for me, a bad movie. This just isn't a good Star Wars movie for me, and that's probably the best that I can put it for myself.
Yeah. For me,
not a bad movie, not a good Star Wars movie.
For me, it's a great Star Wars film. But then again, that's our polarizing opinions. I think that's where we'll leave it for tonight. Next Wednesday, 8 p.m., we will be back as per usual. However, it will be kind of our Christmas special, looking at because that's coming around really quickly, doing our full-on spoiler review. And at that particular point, at the end of that, we will probably announce our plans for the Christmas period, just because, New Year's, family, all the rest of it. None of us know exactly where we're going to be, what we're going to be doing. We may miss a podcast. We're not sure yet. We just need to iron out all the details between us. So we'll let you know if there's any changes to the schedule then. But yes, don't forget, come back next week. Dave,
I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who joined in tonight. It's nice to have people comment, like Phil said, that people are here. Please follow us on Facebook. We're on Twitter, Ones with the Force, and also subscribe to the channel. It's been really nice having people to chat to as well, and having you guys on board for this. So thank you very much for your time. Phil, close us out.
All right, we were Ones with the Force. May the Force always be with you. Good night.